All right, you made it through week 1. Here we are in week 2. In week 1, you should have read The Merchant of Venice, Act 1. If you didn't, do that first before proceeding, because you'll need to do that before, you'll need to have that information for this week. The first thing you're going to do this week is go into Actively Learn, which you joined last week, and the text for The Merchant of Venice is in there. I would suggest reading The Merchant of Venice and listening to it here, and then reviewing it as you go into Actively Learn. Once you're in Actively Learn, you will answer the questions and then come back and submit in Moodle telling me that you have completed your reading and answering your questions in Actively Learn. You'll also be, besides answering the questions, you'll be adding your notes in Actively Learn. So let me just open that up and show you. You'll go to the link in Actively Learn to Merchant of Venice Act 1. You'll complete the reading and answer all of the questions. And then for step 3, you're going to highlight and take notes. You're going to look for memorable quotes. You're going to highlight a section you find challenging or difficult and discuss why. Or what you found out about it, or if it's striking or different, just look for things that stand out to you. You're going to use the define feature to look up words you don't understand, and there's a lot of them in Shakespeare. The annotations in A Merchant of Venice will also have definitions of a lot of words that are difficult, so make sure you kind of read these together. And at the end of the assignment, you're going to talk about your overall reaction, opinion, and analysis of the reading. So half of the credit for Actively Learn will be your answers to the questions, and half will be your notes that you take. So make sure you do both of those things. That's that for, let's go back to week 2 and see what else we have in that week. Okay, you'll also take a quiz on Act 1, and then you'll do your reading and Actively Learn for Act 2 as well. It sounds like a lot, but these acts aren't very long. You'll take your first Check Your Understanding quiz. Make sure you understand that these are not graded, and there's no one correct answer. Just take the quiz, do the best that you can, click submit, and then usually it will say that you got a 0 on the assignment because you didn't type the answer in word for word, but that's okay. Click it and all the correct possible answers will come up, and I just want you to compare what you wrote to what those possible answers are to make sure you're on the right track. We will have Check Your Understanding quizzes all throughout the year, so make sure you understand how those work. You're going to read about the themes in Merchant of Venice and do a practice quiz. And then you'll have a quiz on writing about literature that will be based on these resources. And then at the end of the week, a grammar review that is not graded, but make sure you take a look at that. Now looking ahead, I just want you to know that in week 5, you'll be performing 20 lines from The Merchant of Venice. So start looking for memorable passages that you, things that you like, things that stand out, and start working on memorizing at least 20 lines. It can be from one character, or it can be a dialogue between 2 or more characters, but just make sure you're keeping that in mind for the future. And that's it for this week. Let me know if you have any questions.